I had the coolest experience today. That is where this hat came from. I actually had an opportunity to go to TikTok headquarters today and do like a quick live stream there. So I thought I'd come on and, well, eventually I think I'm gonna like hire some editor or something to help me with this series if I decide to continue with it. But if you are just joining us, I have decided to experiment with recording a daily video, maybe through the end of the year. And if not a daily video, then I'm just gonna try to just be more consistent. So this is very DIY. I am recording this on my iPhone using cinematic mode so that it like looks a little bit more high quality. But I got to go to TikTok headquarters today, and one of the things it made me realize is that I actually have like a lot of imposter syndrome around being a TikTok creator. So I thought I'd just take you through the journey of becoming a TikTok creator. So I had spoken with, I had Haley Hoffman-Smith on my podcast a couple of years ago. And at the end of the podcast, after we had finished recording, the main conversation, she was like, you gotta get on TikTok. And I was like, well, I don't really get TikTok, which I actually think is most of what people say about TikTok. But if you are someone who records video content for your Instagram stories, that is easily TikTok content. So I posted a couple TikToks in March of 2020 and, kind of fizzled out. I thought, this is a visual platform, so I'm gonna show just how I do daily life things with one hand. So fast forward to June, July timeframe, I started hearing about this initiative called Learn on TikTok, which was an initiative to try to get more educational creators onto the TikTok platform. And I was like, well, I'm not a teacher, but I am an educator. And I have been educating people about different aspects related to being a better ally to disabled people. Since not only becoming disabled 25 years ago, but also founding and creating a disability community that I think at the time we were at maybe 20,000 in our digital ecosystem. So I did some sleuthing and I slid into someone's DMs who I think was a partner with TikTok at the time and helping to onboard some educational creators. So I got onto TikTok, and as a function of being a part of this Learn on TikTok program, I started getting invited to like these office hours and also getting like email newsletters and different updates. And they would call us creators. And then I think at the end of my time, so we were tasked with over a 2-month period creating 40 TikToks. And what I would do is I would film myself doing, a daily life thing, like, I don't know, brushing my teeth, to cutting and painting my fingernails, to opening a jar, opening a package, washing dishes, typing, you name it. So my account grew. All right, we're still here. So my account grew pretty quickly, or at least to me it grew pretty quickly, and I went from whatever following I had built up until through my sporadic posting, which was about 700 followers, and I grew to like 45,000 followers, and that happened in a month. And so by the end of my time, I think in this Learn on TikTok program, we started getting like a handful of swag, and the swag said, hashtag love from TikTok, tag us if you enjoy this, and also tag TikTok creators. And so I started getting lumped in with this group of like TikTok creators, and then they sent me a hoodie that said creator on the sleeve, and I was like, oh, I think maybe that means that I'm a creator. And right around that time I had 45,000 followers. I ended up getting reached out to by a small startup brand, and this is public, all of this is public information, but they were like, hey, we'd love for you to create a TikTok for us, circa, that'll get published in October, National Disability Employment Awareness Month. So I said, okay, well, my rate is $2,000. And at that time, Clara for creators didn't exist. So I wasn't really sure what to price, but I thought, for someone who does this as a hobby, I'm okay, making an extra $2,000. And up until this point, we hadn't really figured out our monetization strategy at Diversability. nor did we really have any recurring revenue at the time. Everything was kind of just like at a stalemate. So I did that deal. I was very happy with the $2,000. And then the year after, so now we're in 2021, I started doing a handful more deals. I got named to TikTok's Asian and Pacific Islander Trailblazers list, the inaugural list. And I think after I did the calculations at the end of 2021, through all of my content related partnerships, I had made around like $55,000. So $55,000, depending on who you are, is a lot or a little. And even when I was part of the API Trailblazers list, I think I had like 70,000 followers at the time. And there was someone else who had been named to the list who had like 70 million. So I started to feel like a little bit insecure, like how did I end up on this list? I literally have like 0.01% of this other person's following. And then I got invited to a couple of other opportunities. Like I was one of 4 TikTok creators who had gotten invited to Scotland to go cover like the TED Countdown conference. And of the other creators, like I had the smallest following. So I just kind of like ended up growing this like chip on my shoulder. And so here I got invited to go to TikTok to go stream, and all throughout the stream, I'm just like super awkward. And the creator manager who was there, her name is Lizzie. Thank you, Lizzie, for being so kind. Like really reassured me that like, you know, you're a creator, like, oh, having over 100,000 followers is meaningful. Like you're building a community. I've been able to monetize. And so that was something that kind of just like came up for me, is just like how much imposter syndrome I do have around calling myself a TikTok creator, even though it's, you know, a large part of my income. And I've gotten all these amazing opportunities. So all of that to say, you know, one of the things it did make me think about is not only, you know, there's like some conversations happening now that are like, should you bring your full authentic self to work? And as I started to think about it, I actually don't bring my full authentic self to all of the different social media platforms. And I heard this piece of advice that like all of the different social media platforms have their own personality. So you will curate different types of content onto these different platforms. So one of the things that made me think about is TikTok is where I go to be like goofy and have fun and play. And then, you know, I'm also on Instagram where I'm posting more like advocacy related content. While on LinkedIn, I'm sharing mostly like professional related, employment related, hiring, recruitment, anything related to work. And so it made me realize that I'm not really showing up as my full authentic self on each one of these platforms, but I am my full authentic self across the menu of different platforms. And so I think that as I reflected on it a little bit more, because I think so much of what we talk about is like, how can you bring your full authentic self to work? And in my mind, I'm like, how can you bring your full authentic self to all of the different aspects of your life? So maybe work gets a part of that, your therapist gets another part of that, your partner gets another part of that, all the communities I'm a part of get another part of that. You know, what I do in my solitude introvert time is another part of that. So that's kind of how I'm reframing that. But I do want to come back to this imposter syndrome thing. One of the things that made me realize is that even though I know that I have imposter syndrome, and I do have a little bit of a chip on my shoulder because I'm not like super proud of my content, but I post it anyway. And so the lesson here is that even though I know that I have this inner critic or this, you know, or imposter syndrome with regard to being a TikTok creator, I'm still making TikTok content. I'm still going live. I'm still having dance parties on there. So I know it's a little bit cliche, but I think there's a saying where it's like, do it scared. And I guess my version of that is like, yes, you're gonna have imposter syndrome because you're human, and so much of how we, like a part of how we feel about ourselves actually is in comparison to other people, but continue to show up, continue to create the content. And I don't think that's necessarily how I overcome my imposter syndrome. I think it's just how I live with my imposter syndrome. And, you know, I think maybe it'll take me some time to lean into my identity as a TikTok creator, but having a cute bucket hat, you know, definitely doesn't hurt. So that's my update from today. Again, lots of love to TikTok for really making me feel seen. And, you know, I think what's coming up for me is just like as a kid growing up, like that was the one thing I just wanted so badly. But TikTok just as a platform has the potential for you to be seen by people you would have never thought would have seen you. And I think that that's really powerful, and that's why I keep showing up. So that's my update for today, and I will see you tomorrow.